Hello, Scrappy friends. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday. Today we are going to do a tool demonstration. I haven't done one of these in a while, and every once in a while when I find a tool that I'm just loving on, I like to bring it here to our workshop and talk about it and show some examples of how we could get more use out of our tools. So today I am focusing on the fresh flower punch. This one came out a couple of months ago now, and I love it. I knew I would. I love anything floral or anything that has foliage like leaves, so no surprise to me. But I will say when I first got it, I thought this punch was a little bit bigger in size than I originally had thought it was going to be. But like I said, I'm enjoying it, and I want to show you some uses for it as well. So let's go ahead and punch one out and see what it looks like when it comes out normally. And here it is right here. This is about a 1.5 inch in diameter. Let me just double check that, but I'm pretty sure. Yep, about a 1.5 inch diameter. So it's a really good size. It's great for adding to embellishment clusters. It's great as an embellishment by itself. Partially tucking it in looks super nice, but what comes out of the punch is equally as nice. So you get 7 little petals and a circle. So it looks really nice. There we go, 7 little petals and a circle. And what I've been doing, and one of my favorite ways to use this punch has been this style right here, and I'm going to show you how I do that. And it looks really great when you have a piece of paper that has a high contrast on both sides, or just punch it twice and then you can make 2 flowers opposite colors. But this is my favorite way to use the punch, and let me show you how I do that. So like I was saying, it looks really nice when you have a piece of paper that has a nice contrast on both sides. So I'm going to use this scrap, and when I'm playing with my punches, I'm always digging into the scrap pile. They make some really nice embellishments. Okay, so here's our flower and our petals and the one lone circle. Let's scoot that off to the side. So what I do to create this look right here is I take my repositionable tape and I put it around all the inside of the petals, these lines right here, and around the circle. Okay, then I take the petals and I turn them upside down, and then I place the petal about halfway into the circle and onto one of the lines. So it looks like that. And I keep going all the way around, and it actually goes by pretty fast. Put this one right in here. You can use tweezers if that helps you. And then it looks like that all the way around. Then I'll come back in with a little bit more repositionable tape and put that circle, and this time I'm putting the darker color up, or the opposite color up. Okay, and that is so easy to do, and it just, to me, changes the entire look of the flower. Okay, so we have those two, and then what I really like doing is taking this same idea, and instead of putting the dot back in the center, I'll put a little gem in the center. So here's one where I had some little heart gems in my stash, and I just put it right there in the center, and I think that adds just a little bit of bling to our flowers. Okay, so that's the first way I use it. The second way is I like to bring in some other punches and create on top of the flower as well. So I like to do something like this. Okay, and to get that look, I punched out one flower using the fresh flower, and then I brought in the scalloped circle punch. So let me demonstrate that. I'm going to make one exactly like this. Now this one doesn't have a nice contrast on the back, so I but that's okay because I'm not going to use the petals. I'm just going to use the punch out that comes out. And let's do it this way. Okay, I would save the petals aside in case you want to use them on another flower. Okay, and on this one, what I do is I like to cover up and the back side of the opened flower petals. So to do that, this one has a couple more steps than the first one. I place the repo tape on the back, and then I put the pattern paper flower on top. I like to use cardstock, but another pattern paper would look really nice as well. Put it as close to the edge as possible so that the entire petal is covered with the cardstock. And then I'm just going to trim around. The fine tip scissors come in really handy for this kind of thing. And the repo tape, I just kind of bend the cardstock so I can kind of go right under the petal. And then I just keep going around. It doesn't have to look nice underneath. It just has to look nice on top. So that's why I just kind of move the paper around and keep going. I'll even go into that little piece right there. And like that. And just clean it up. And now we have, this look is actually really nice as well. But of course I want to add to it a little bit. And so that's where I'm going to bring in the scalloped circle punch and punch it. Now this one, we want to get the little circle only, but with the way it's set is you have to put it on number 3, and that's going to give you the circle as well as a ring, 2 rings. It's all the way to the back this time. Push down, give it an extra push because we're cutting 3 things. Now I won't be using these, but I do save these because I am going to create a border one day with all my little extras that I have. Okay. And then this will be the center of our flower. Now the paper I used has cute little dots, and so it's perfect for a center of a flower, but I am going to still bling that up a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my pens, and I'm going to use the pink one because I'm making a pink and yellow flower here. And I'm going to go around the edge and very lightly just kind of add the ink to the edge. This way when I put it on top of that flower, it's going to stand out just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm just going around the edge. You can skip this part if this is not your thing. You could use an ink pad if you have ink pads, or any kind of ink. It's just giving it a little bit more definition to the center of my flower. Okay, let me put it on there and you'll see it a little bit better. There we go. Now I am going to pop this up on a little bit of foam, and I have these really low profile ones that are very, very thin. Then we'll put that right in the center. So it kind of raises it up and gives it a little bit more depth and definition. So it looks like now it is the center of a flower. And then on this one, I just put 3 little gems. You can also just draw little gems on there with your pen. But I like to add a little bit of bling. So there's all sizes that you can put a big one if you like that look, or some smaller or medium-sized ones. But I really like these tiny ones. And then I just put them in a little cluster, like a little triangle kind of. And there we go. Whoop, that's not very good. There we go. So super cute, very easy. Just pushing those little gems more closer together. And that's another way that we could bring in another tool to use with our punch to give it another completely whole different look. Now with the same concept, I created a sunflower look, and this one it's the same idea. I just did different colors and then gave it a stem. So on this one, I did the outer one is a yellow, and then I backed the flower with a light yellow, and then I punched it out on orange. And when I put the petals in, similar to this design, I put them in with the pointy side out, and I did more than 7. So the only 7 come out, so I punched it twice so I could really fill up the orange. And then I made this punch in brown so that it would look like a sunflower. So it's the same technique as this one, just layered it up and used brown instead. So that's a fun one. Then the last way I want to show you is to bring in the embossed flower punch to go with it as well, and we'll get a flower that looks like this. So let's do that one. I'm bringing in a piece of pattern paper. I'm not going to use the petals on this one. You could if you wanted to get that design. This will save those for a future project. And this time I am going to use the back side of the pattern paper to back the flower. Same like we did on number 2. There we go. So we have our fresh flower punched out, we have it backed, and now we're going to bring in the embossed blossoms. And I love this punch when I do it, especially with shimmer paper, because if you haven't seen the embossed punches, then this one is when you push it down, you give it a little extra push and it puts a little design onto the paper, and it looks really good on shimmer paper. So let's take a look. It looks good on cardstock too, but I really like it on shimmer paper. And there we go. It gives that little bit of an imprint on it. And then I like to put it right here in the center. Same idea. We're just putting it in like that. I'm going to bring in a little bit more foam tape. Now on this one, you can have some fun with your pens. Let's do it this way. And you can color in the little embossed sections on there and make them stand out even more. So I'm just going around. Each petal has at least 1 or 2 areas that we could, and then you can that you can highlight, and you can also do the little dots in the center like that. So it looks really cute like that. And then I of course wanted to add some bling to mine, so I did that. I just brought in some little gems. Use whatever you have. Whoops, these ones are tiny. There we go. And I went through some different leaf punches that I had, and the one I like the best with this size flower is my little gum leaf. This is an older one, but I know a lot of us have this, and I thought this one punched out very well, and it fits so nicely. The 5-leaf punch looks really great if you're making a sunflower and you want to give it appearance of being bigger than it is. Then I use the 5-leaf punch here, and this one is the gum leaf. So it adds just a little bit of leafiness to it if you're going for that look. And there we go. Those are the techniques I wanted to share with you using the fresh flower punch. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you have other ideas that you've come up with, please put it in the comments. I would love to see what everybody's doing with this punch. But that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me on Workshop Wednesday, and I'll be back next week, and we'll see what we're going to do. We're probably going to do a keeping it simple. So come on back next week, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.